Good. Let's do some questions. Some answers, hopefully. Can't really see.
Well, Larry, you want to kick it off?
What was the budget?
Yes. What was the question?
The budget.
The budget. Budget was like between 8 and 10 million, depending on the tax rebates. Look at it. Yes, sir.
I just wanted to ask you, what was the inspiration for the film, and was it easy to get Jason Segel to be the lead character?
Questions was the inspiration for the film and getting Jason Segel. We just love this character of Jeff. It started with him as sort of neo-philosophizing stoner in basketball shorts who you very quickly could write off as just like a stoner living in his mom's basement. But you know, there's also some very underdog, lovable loser beauty to him as well. I think for me, I kind of wish we were more like Jeff. So, kind of wish fulfillment, filmmaking. And this Jason Segel, we knew him a little bit socially. He knew our previous film, Cyrus, and so he you know, it was kind of an instant fit for both of us. Yes, sir.
Your characters are so simple yet so complex in the end. With the brother combination, does that have anything to do with you and your own brother? As far as
the question is that are those brothers like me and Jay? They're literally nothing like me and Jay. We are overly intellectual and don't follow our instincts. We drive Priuses. Yeah, wish we were more like Jeff in a lot of ways, but yeah, we're making films together. We kind of have to be a little bit more respectful towards each other than Jeff and Pat are, particularly not calling each other asshole.
Who else?
I see one here.
How many days did you shoot it, and what did you shoot it?
Question is, how many days did we shoot? What did we shoot with? We shot with 3 red cameras. We rolled 2 or 3 cameras at a time, and it was a Millennium build, and we shot in 33 days in New Orleans.
Go ahead.
Yes.
It seems like you were inspired by the universal spirituality of Jeff. That's really cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, the real Jeff who lives at home. Yeah, I got with us today.
Well, yeah, I just moved out of my mom's place. I'm 7 years old, and that's the real story.
That happens, man.
I just smoke a lot of pot, a little bit, but
Just a little bit, yes. Yes, sir. Oh, you guys have a question? Sorry. Look at the comment. All right.
It seems like he were you inspired by meditation and Hindu spirituality, Muhammad, or?
Not at all. No. I just love Jeff. Yeah.
Okay.
But I read some New Age books in my day.
Cool.
So. Yes.
You guys seem to like working with comedic actors in more dramatic roles. Like, is that why is the choice?
Questions about using comedic actors in dramatic roles. It is. It's not something we consciously employ, but it does seem to happen a lot. They're really good at improvising, which is great, and they've proved to be very good at improvising the dramatic scenes as well. Even though we're working from a very kind of structurally tight script, we like the dialogue to be loosey-goosey whenever possible to feel natural. And then there's something about comedians that's corny, but like that tears of a clown thing. They tend to be willing to go with dark stuff and look at it in a way that we look at it, which is there's not a separation between the funny and the sad. You know, they're the same thing. Like Jeff is hilarious and tragic to us at the same time, and you know, Jason Segel really got that. So, yeah.
How many takes do you normally do a scene?
Question is, how many takes do we do? It varies a ton. When one of your actors is jumping off a bridge, you do 1. You know, we don't do any rehearsals, and we try to see if we can get some gold in the first take by doing that. And if you get the gold, usually is 3 or 4 takes later, you're getting close to finishing, and then because we're improvising, we have to do these little cleanup moments.   But then sometimes you get, you know, 1 or 2 takes, and then you become really good at improvising that you do 3 or 4 takes. And then you get the gold. And then if you get the gold, usually is 3 or 4 takes later, you're getting close to finishing, and then because we're improvising, we have to do these little cleanup moments. But then sometimes you get crap because you didn't rehearse. and then you're running into, 7, 10, 15 takes even. Yes?
And just like as you guys have gone along, obviously you're getting like bigger and bigger names for your movies. You have John C. Reilly and Cyrus. And, like, are these, when you get big name actors like this, are they coming in with like preconceived notions of what your movies are supposed to be like already, or are you guys actually kind of changing your flavors, directors and writers based around the kind of people that you're getting for your movies?
The question is, now that we work with big name actors, do we change our process to suit them, or do they sort of come into our fold? Is that basically it? Yeah, I mean, we're doing a very specific thing, so it's very much, we have a lunch and we say, like, this is what we do. I know it looks like we're smoking pot and running around with the camera and it looks very fun, but it's brutal. Like, you have to be on your toes, we're improvising all day long, we're exploring every possible avenue, and it's exhausting. And so if you are an actor who wants to rehearse a script and come and say your lines and then go home, you're going to be miserable on our set. If you want to be a true, like, creative collaborator with us, and, we'll respect you and you respect us, it's going to be great. And usually what is required is, as long as they are, interested in doing the process, they're usually really good at it.
As a follow-up, you're choosing to act next in your own movies now. Is that why, or is it?
A lot of that is just logistical, like about, Cyrus, there wasn't anything like age appropriate for me. And then for Jeff, they're just better fits, for the role. So I haven't banned myself from the movies, or Jay hasn't banned me yet. It just hasn't worked out. So, yeah.
Was this the pinnacle of Jeff's life?
Was this the pinnacle of Jeff's life? I don't know. I mean, I'm the last person to tell you that. I mean, to me, you can look at this movie and you can say, Jeff was right. He's definitely, the whole time. Or you can look at it and say, well, if you wait around for 30 years, you're certainly going to get some kind of time, And, I'm cool with either one of those. Yes, sir.
I saw in the credits, military advisors.
Coast Guards, in the end.
Thank you.
Military advisors. Yes, sir. Jason Segel was our first pick for Jeff. We got all of our first choices on this. We got really lucky on this one. Right here. Oh, yes, sir.
So, sorry if I ramble, I tend to do that, but you start with Baghead and the puffy chair, and it just feels like you and your brother are running around making movies. It's really cool. And then you get to this point where you're making movies with, real actors and like budget and stuff. It's got to feel so surreal to get to this point in your career. It's just.
The question is what does it feel like coming from the smaller budget movies to the big budget movies with real actors? I am actually a real actor.
Wow.
It's debatable, I guess. I could see how you could look at it and be like, yeah, that feels surreal, because you probably pop in to one of our movies every year or something and see it. But it's been a very steady, natural progression for us, Even though The Puppet Chair was a small movie, it was after we had made 2 shorts that I got at Sundance, and it signed with a big agent, and there was a moment where Puppet Chair was going to be a big movie, but we decided to make it small. And then Baghdad was a movie that Lionsgate wanted to make it a big horror movie, and it wasn't going to work out because they didn't want to do it the way we wanted to do it, so we did it on our own. So, certainly every now and then you have that moment where you're like, holy shit, Susan Sarrandon's in my movie. That definitely happens, but we've been very careful along the way to take very small micro steps upwards so that we don't. Basically, if you make a bad movie as a director, you're done. And you have to be careful about the early choices. So we try to be somewhat conservative in our growth pattern, I guess. Yes?
Do you ever consider Jeff not surviving any of the movies?
Do we ever consider Jeff not surviving any movie? Yeah, we did. We talked about it. We like this better. We did talk about it. Yes, in the back. Sorry, a little louder? Yeah, writing process is Jay and I's story together, come up with the basic scenes. And once we have those on the note cards, the 40 some odd scenes that are in the movie, then I bang out the first draft really quickly. And I tend to be better at just moving fast and getting shit done, and Jay is really good at micromanaging and taking that stuff from 80% to 100%, where I am just terrible at that. So he kind of is, I give him the scripts and he fixes them.
So you're saying you do the majority of the work?
Yeah. No, I do the easy part of the work. The first draft is easy as shit. The editing, that's the tough part. Yes, sir. We have a movie called The Tinsel that we shot a few years ago. It's a smaller movie that we haven't been able to finish because we've been doing these other things. So we're editing that. It'll come out next year. And then I've been acting in some things, and Jay has a short documentary called Kevin that's playing next weekend. Yeah. And we're just writing a bunch of movies. So we're going to make next. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm a little confused now. Kevin in this movie, he has a documentary coming out.
Different Kevin. Or maybe they're not.
What's with the theme Kevin? Like, is it a reason or is it Kevin?
Don't look too hard. Someone I haven't called on yet, so I can. Ooh, that's feedback. Yes, sir, back there.
I was wondering how you guys found your visual style of handheld and the way the zooms work and everything.
The way the zooms work with the handheld is really, it started out purely functional, and it still is functional because we don't give our actors marks and we don't do traditional setups in our movies. We just let them go free and we capture them like a documentary team. And what zoom lenses do for that is they allow you to be in wide or close up depending on the energy of the moment. And our general feeling is while you're improvising, you should be prepared for everything. So sometimes on take one, you're like, let's shoot our master, and you're wide, and then somebody has an amazing moment and you missed it. And so we like to be equipped. So literally, it's us going and finding them. Those are not, we're not choosing to do them, we're like reframing in the moment.
One or two more.
Okay, we're doing one or two more. Yes, sir, right there.
With the ending, him surviving, is it kind of at the end, the last scene where he's, actually finally fixing the door out? Is it kind of like his life is now beginning, he now actually sees the purpose, that it all comes together and it kind of continues like in a beautiful moment where he can now fulfill his life and kind of get on, the process?
That's similar to the way I feel about, what I talked about with the gentleman back there. It's like, I think that you could absolutely look at it in a lot of ways for the ending of Jeff, Does that mean he's no longer going to be in the basement? I don't know. Does that mean he's, truly fulfilled his destiny? Maybe. Did some random shit happen one day and he has to be in the right place? Maybe. I don't really like to put that dictatorial approach to anything on it. We have time for one more and it's got to be amazing. So if it's not amazing, put your hand out right now. This guy's got it. I see the fire in your eyes.
First off,
You're shaking your head no, it's not a good start. Not confident.
Last 15 seconds of the last episode of The League that aired. Amazing. Your ass is great.
Okay. All right.
Is the editing process.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that? Is there extra footage that you guys shoot, and do you edit yourself, or do you work with editors?
We have 3 editors we work with, and Jay and I also work, so there's 5 of us working on the movie. It takes us about 8 or 9 months to edit because of all the improvisation. And we're towing, a tonal line between comedy and drama, obviously, and that's something that is hard to get right. So we also test our movies a lot on audiences to see how they're doing with it. So it takes quite a while.